Hello, everyone. It is early afternoon on the 2nd of March, 2024. I'm inside my shed. We've had a lot of rain in the last 12 hours, but it's supposed to be stopping in the next hour or two. And then tomorrow, Sunday, the 3rd, is going to be a gorgeous day. Mid 60s, sunny, warm. So you know what I'll be doing tomorrow? Tomorrow, this tank is going to get sealed. Finally, I've been waiting for the right combination of temperature and humidity. And right now, my little hygrometer is showing me that it's almost 51 degrees. Relative humidity just went up a little bit to 86%. It was 85, probably because I had the doors open as I was getting set up today. I'm actually surprised it's not worse than that. But 85 is the top limit according to KBS coatings. But tomorrow it should be much lower. In fact, I plan on doing the sealing outdoors tomorrow, where it'll be warmer and drier. And then after the day is over tomorrow, I'll bring the tank back in here, the shed, overnight because the temps will dip into the 40s overnight. So I'm still trying to figure out a way to maybe isolate a corner in this shed. I might work on that this afternoon so I can keep it warm enough because it's too big of a space that's not at all sealed for this little heater here to keep it above 55 degrees. It might be okay, but I don't want to take that chance. I need this to cure correctly. I suppose if it's cooler than they recommend, once I've done the initial application, it might just mean that it needs more time to cure. I don't know. But they say 96 hours. I consider that a minimum. So it'll probably be more than 96 hours before I actually try to install it on the car after I've sealed it and all that, just to be safe. I got a couple more things too. I bought a couple of cans of black enamel paint, Rust-Oleum. That's for the exterior of the tank. I don't even know if I'll use 2 cans, but I got to. And that's really just to protect it. I don't really care what it looks like. You know, who cares if it's black and shiny underneath the car? But there were some areas that did have some surface rust on it, and I'm planning on using the leftover sealer. And I bought a cheap brush at Walmart too that'll be used for that. So I'll cover those areas first with the sealer, and then after it's cured, then I'll paint the exterior of the tank all the way around before it gets installed back in the car. I also bought a smaller form factor flashlight so I can get it inside the hole here in this tank so I can get a better view inside. Not that that's all that critical, but I just want to see more thoroughly what it looks like inside. So what I'm going to work on today right now is I'm going to get some sandpaper and do a little more sanding on the outside rust. I don't know if that's really necessary, but I'm just going to try and clean up a couple spots a little bit more than they already are. Get them ready for treatment tomorrow and painting. And oh, the most important thing I'm going to do today, though, is there's a little plug on the on this tank. I guess it's on the other end. I didn't realize that I was going to need to be taking it out, but I am right here. A little plug, and I'm going to spray it down with the PB Blaster first. But this is important because when I drain the tank tomorrow after I've sealed it and rotated it around for at least 30 minutes, I need to drain the leftover out, and it's going to come out of this hole because if you try to drain it out of the main hole, it's not going to work because there's this lip inside that it's just going to accumulate all around there, and that's what you want to avoid is puddling inside the tank and all that. So I'm going to have to get this drain plug open, so I'm going to try and do that today. I need to do that today. I just hope I don't damage the tank while I'm trying to get that off. I hope it comes off fairly easily, so that's going to be my first task and we'll go from there. I wanted to show a picture inside the tank since this light makes it a lot better to see inside. It's not as perfect as I would like, but it's still very good. I don't know if any of the surface rust has formed over the last couple days since I finished cleaning out the tank. It's possible, but I've also read that that's normal and it's not a problem, that the sealer will cover all that up and seal it. I mean, that's part of what it does. So not just seal the tank from leaks and stuff, but literally seal the surface and lock in any surface rust that might be left like there appears to be now. Overall, though, I think it looks beautiful inside there. It really does. The baffles area that I thought was in there, actually, I guess it's not a baffles. It's the first time I've seen the inside of this tank like this. And there's no puddling, there's no moisture, and that was what I was really double checking because it's got to be completely dry. It's interesting. Sometimes we use tools in ways they weren't necessarily designed. It turns out the plug fits the end of an extension, a 3/8 drive extension bar, just perfectly tight and everything. So I used a claw's foot there, I think, or crow's foot, and luckily it came loose easily. So I'm thankful for that because I really need to get that plug off. So that part is good. So now the plug is free, so that'll be where I drain it tomorrow. Of course, I'll put the plug back in for now, but that's where I'll drain the sealer out of it tomorrow. Okay, I just finished going over the external part of the tank. Just used this 80 grit paper that I had laying around. Seemed to do pretty good. I definitely got quite a bit of surface rust off here. Smoothed it out a lot. I went all the way around. I put my plugs back in too. Make sure I don't introduce nasty stuff inside the tank after working so hard to clean it. But it's pretty clean overall. This is the worst of the external rust right here, and a lot of that came off. So when I put the sealer on top of it and then paint it, you'll never be able to tell. But it cleaned up pretty good. I mean, I'm not using anything special, just elbow grease. A little more surface rust down here, but not a serious amount. So it actually looks really good. I think on the bottom of the tank, I guess that's over here, there must have been some underbody coating. Since this is the bottom of the tank, I got most of it off. I'm not trying to get it all off. I do. I just want to clean it up, get it ready for painting. So that tank is about as far as I can take it right now until I seal it tomorrow. And even though the ground is wet in here, there's standing water in here. This is getting back into acceptable parameters. The relative humidity dropped one, and the temperature's been going up, and that's just from this heater sitting here, and the door's closed, so I might be okay with having that in here overnight. I think during the day, when it's warm enough anyway and dry enough, I'll take this outside, let it cure outdoors, and then bring it back in at the end of the day or whatever. But I'm pretty excited. I'll be honest. Almost there with this tank. Almost there. I was just doing some minor detail work in my shed. I cleaned up and reassembled the AM radio. Cleaned it up really well. You know, WD-40 does a really good job of cleaning up chrome and stuff. So got that all ready to go. Everything moves freely. The buttons work nicely and all that. And my AC control I'd already cleaned up before. So those two things are ready to go back in the dash. Somewhere in one of these buckets, I've got a replacement wiper switch too. I've got to grab and install. These AM/FM radios, I'm just going to kind of package them up and leave them in pieces and put them in Ziploc bags or whatever for some future project. Then I ran across my rearview mirror and forgotten about it. It's, of course, not in the car. So I took the little button there and ran that through my wire brush over there on the grinder. Cleaned it up with 409. It cleaned up pretty well and everything was going great. Then all of a sudden the housing snapped off and broke. It's just plastic. You know, looks like vinyl, but it's actually plastic and it just broke right off. So I'll just glue that back on. I was surprised at the mirror though. Look how clean that thing is. It's not pitted at all. That's unusual. So I'm definitely going to be using this rearview mirror. I just got to get one of them little kits to glue that back to the windshield and something to glue that on. Doing something right now I hope I won't regret. Doing some detail work here. I've been having trouble getting somebody to respond to my request for a replacement of these. So I decided to take this one apart. And I can't salvage this one other than to grind off all the corrosion and stuff, all the pitting, which I've done on this side. It actually cleaned up pretty well using just my wire brush on my drill. Of course, the only problem is the little wording that's there goes away. It disappears when you're running the wire brush over it. But my intent is just to clean it up real good and then just paint it. You know, get some spray paint, some silver spray paint, hopefully glossy or whatever to look halfway decent. It's got to look better than what it looked before, which was this all over the place. So that's what I'm doing now. That way I can get the dash completely reassembled. All right, I'm wrapping it up for the day. I spent quite a bit of time today working on dash components so I can reinstall it in the car. So I got my AM radio all cleaned up, ready to go, all lubricated and shiny. Got the rearview mirror all cleaned up, and I'll just glue that end piece back on tomorrow. I'm going to go to the store right now and get the glue I need to stick that back on the windshield. I'll have to clean the glass too. This is the heater AC controls. Those were previously cleaned up and lubricated, so that's ready to go. I do have the little strip that says temperature control at the top somewhere. I don't know where it is right now, but I know I have it. This is the little piece that goes under the steering column. This is my replacement wiper switch that I got from Brian. And the last thing that I was working on, which I showed earlier, but now I'm done cleaning it up, is the faceplate that goes underneath all those components I just showed you. This is the back part of it, and this is the faceplate that used to have the words on it that said temp and radio and tuner and all that stuff. That's all gone now because I used a wire brush to clean all that pitting off. And it cleaned up nicely, so I'm just going to get a can of silver, some kind of paint, silver colored, I guess, aluminum colored, to just paint it to keep it from corroding again, even though it's not original. At least I feel like I can install it back in the car, and someday maybe I'll be lucky enough to procure a proper replacement. But for now, just so I can get the car back together, I will take care of that. I still need to modify the radio speaker so I can mount that back on the dash pad here, so I can put that back on the car as well. I don't know if I'll do that today. Probably not. I'm getting kind of tired, so I'm going to wrap it up for the day. Have a good evening.